The shadow is a psychology term coined by Carl Jung, and what the shadow is it's the hidden dark side of the human psyche. So it's all the repressed and rejected parts of our personality. So everyone has a shadow, and the shadow can come up in a number of different ways and can create problems in our lives. So this is why doing shadow work is really important, really beneficial, because when you do shadow work, it's becoming aware of your shadow. That's the key, right? Because like I said, when we're not aware of it, it comes up in a number of different ways and will create problems in our lives. So in this video, I'm going to share with you 8 ways that the shadow comes up, so that you can have the awareness of when your shadow is popping up, and then you can start working with it. So the first way the shadow will come up is when you are judging or criticizing others. Whenever you judge someone, pay close attention to what you are judging them for. Whatever you can't stand about another person is an aspect of yourself that you haven't integrated yet. The key is to start using every incident of judging someone as an opportunity to learn about yourself. The second way your shadow will come up is your emotional reactions. So when you've had an emotional reaction, you've been triggered, that is your shadow that's coming up. So the triggers are the clues to what needs to be healed within you. Let the triggers be the guide. The key is to practice responsibility for your emotions and reactions rather than blaming others. The third way your shadow comes up is projection. Projection is the psychological mechanism where individuals attribute their own thoughts, feelings, or traits onto others, often unconsciously. It's like seeing qualities in others that are actually reflections of one's own inner experiences or characteristics. So for example, someone that cheats in a relationship will accuse the other person of cheating. So they're projecting their own behavior of cheating onto the partner. Another example, this is my own example of having people projecting onto me, and that was at my nana's house after my nana had passed away. And my mum has 4 sisters that are all like money hungry type people, like greedy. And so they were wanting to just get money out of the situation, out of like, you know, what Nana had, all her belongings and stuff. And I wanted something of Nana's to keep, like in my house as like something to remember her by, right? And I was asking for like, you know, to have something of Nana's. And because their mindset was all like getting like greedy, wanting to get money out of the situation, they were projecting that onto me and treating me as if I was greedy and wanting something to get money out of the situation as well, right? And they had this whole attitude with me for asking if I could have something of Nana's, right? She's my grandmother. Of course I want something of hers to remember her by. And so they were projecting their own greediness onto me. And they turned around and said, well, do you want this? And asked me if I wanted this ceramic shoe that my Nana had made herself, right? I was like, yeah, I'd love to take that. Because that to me is more meaningful because she made it than a material item that, you know, it may have monetary value, but that doesn't have any meaning to it. So they wanted the monetary stuff. That's why they didn't want the shoe that she made. That didn't mean anything to them. So I was happy to take it, but that's an example of projection. They were projecting their own greediness onto me. So keep your like, just be mindful of that as well, because you may be projecting your shadow onto others, but they can be projecting their shadow onto you as well. Now, the fourth way your shadow will come up is when you're blaming. If you find yourself blaming people, be mindful of that and start working with it, start questioning it, because this is your shadow coming up. When you blame others, you play the victim. When you play the victim, you avoid responsibility. You don't take accountability. You're pointing the finger, but you're not pointing the thumb. When you start pointing the thumb and stop pointing the finger, that is when life will get better. You know, when you're blaming and playing the victim, it causes you to wallow in self-pity. That does not serve you. It also causes you to hold grudges with people, which also doesn't serve you. So just be mindful if you're blaming people and use that as a way to learn more about yourself. Now, the fifth thing, or the fifth way that the shadow will come up is when you feel jealousy. Now, jealousy isn't necessarily a bad thing. You can work with jealousy. What jealousy is telling you is what you are wanting in your own life. So let's say someone's got something, going on in their life that you find yourself jealous about. Look at what they've got going on. Realize, okay, this is what I'm wanting in my life. So then at least you've got a roadmap for what you're wanting in your life. This is why jealousy, isn't necessarily a negative thing. You can work with it, figure out what you're wanting in your own life, then make a plan to get that thing. So if you find yourself being jealous, realize your shadow's coming up. This is just telling me or showing me what I'm wanting in my own life, and then work with that. Now, the sixth way that the shadow will come up is trolling on social media. If you're trolling on social media, you're writing negative comments on other people's videos or posts, that is your shadow coming up. And you may not even be trolling on social media, but you may experience trolling from other people, like people trying to troll you. Realize that is their shadow that they're projecting onto you in the form of a negative comment. It's not personal. And people do that because they're not happy. They're miserable, or they may be insecure. They see someone else on the internet doing great in their lives, putting themselves out there. They feel the need to tear them down because they don't feel secure enough within themselves to put themselves out there like that. So they project that and they try to tear people down in the form of negative comments to make themselves feel better. It's kind of like that saying, misery loves company. So again, if you have people trolling you, don't take it personally. Just acknowledge that, oh, this person's just projecting their shadow at me, and just carry on with your day. But also don't troll on other people's posts as well, because that's your shadow that's coming up. Now, the seventh way to spot your shadow is your dreams and nightmares. Dreams can be a powerful tool for exploring the unconscious mind. So pay attention to any recurring themes or symbols that may point to aspects of your shadow self. And you may even want to keep a dream journal. So a dream journal is where you write down your dreams as soon as you wake up, while they're still fresh in your mind. You jot them down, and then you may notice like patterns in your dreams, recurring themes coming up. So I had something like my shadow come up in a dream last year that kind of basically showed me I still had some resentment towards my mum, because I've been working on like healing the father wound and healing the mother wound. And that kind of showed me that I hadn't fully healed my mother wounds yet. So basically in the dream, I was like back being like a teenager living at home, and I got really angry at my mum and I blew up at my mum. And it was because I was trying to like say something important to them, and they weren't listening to me or like respecting what I was saying. And that's why I blew up. So when I woke up, I realized, oh, I've still got resentment there towards my mum. And that resentment is linked to me feeling like I'm not heard or not seen. Because that's how I felt as a kid. I felt like I wasn't heard or I wasn't seen. So I could see this came up in a dream to kind of just show that to me, reveal that to me. So yeah, pay close attention to what's happening in your dreams, because there's always like messages in your dreams. A lot of it's created by the subconscious, which holds a lot of information. Now, the last one, number 8, to spot your shadow is using shadow work prompts. Shadow work prompts are questions that you journal to. So you write the question at the top of the page, and then you just journal to that question and you see what comes up. And it's a great way to help you to understand your core beliefs, thoughts, and feelings. It helps you to gain insight into your unconscious mind. It encourages self-reflection and self-awareness. It helps you to identify patterns, and it provides a safe space for exploration, because there's no judgment when you're just, having a journaling session on your own. So using shadow work prompts is a great way to dig into yourself, to find, what wounds you have, find where your shadow's hiding, to bring it up into your awareness. So those are the 8 ways to spot your shadow. I hope you liked the video and you got some sort of value out of it. If you did, let me know by hitting the like button or write a comment. I'm going to link 2 videos at the end of this one that I think are a great follow-up video after this one. The first one is Shadow Work for Beginners, the Ultimate Guide. This will teach you everything you need to know if you're new to doing shadow work and want to get started. The second one I will link is a shadow work journal prompt video that will share a few different journal prompts that you can use and start journaling to. If you like this sort of content, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification. Hope I see you on the next video. Peace.